And Jesus said, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I believe that's exactly what the enemy is doing with our kids, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. And he's not just using culture to do it. He's actually using parents. Oh, that was my favorite line in the whole sermon, by the way. I practiced that line over and over again. I got the inflection just right. I had the meditated pause after. Did you feel it? I worked on that line. So today, I want to start with a verse that I really do believe should set the tone and set the direction and honestly set the posture for every parent. So if you are one today, this is a verse for you, and the rest of you can apply this to your life. I think this is the posture for parenting, and we read this verse from the Old Testament story of Nehemiah. Maybe you remember Nehemiah's story. Nehemiah was going to rebuild the city walls of Jerusalem. Those walls had been previously torn down, and because the city didn't have city walls, the city was then left open for all kinds of attacks and invasions from the enemy. It was vulnerable, and so Nehemiah decides he's going to rebuild the walls to protect it. And at one point while he's rebuilding the walls, the enemies are attacking, and things become so challenging, so dangerous, that Nehemiah says to those who are working, I want you to work on the wall with a hammer in one hand and a sword in the other. I want you to visualize that. A hammer in one hand and a sword in the other. And then Nehemiah says this, and I think it's the posture for parenting. Nehemiah said, fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. What did Nehemiah say? Nehemiah said, fight, fight, fight. This is the posture for parents. It's a fight. It's a fight. Now, I know that's not what most of you thought I was going to say. I know, after all, fighting sounds aggressive. And it sounds strategic, and it sounds tactical, and it sounds forceful, and it sounds dangerous, and it sounds exhausting. And that is parenting. Especially the exhausting part, right? That is parenting. It is a fight. If it's not a fight, you ain't doing it right. If it's not a struggle, you aren't parenting correctly. If it's not hard, you're probably missing the point. Nehemiah said, you got to fight for your right to parent. Let's go. That's Nehemiah. I'm going to tell you why it's a fight, and this is not to try to scare you or stress you or freak you out. Really, it's to wake you up. It's a fight because there's a very real enemy that wants the soul of your child. Just like Jerusalem needed to be protected by the city walls because it was under attack, your kids need to be protected by you parents because they are under attack. And Jesus said the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and I believe that's exactly what the enemy is doing with our kids, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. And he's not just using culture to do it. He's actually using parents. Oh, that was my favorite line in the whole sermon, by the way. I practiced that line over and over again. I got the inflection just right. I had the meditated pause after. Did you feel it? I worked on that line. He's using parents to steal, kill, and destroy our children? I think so. Because the enemy would love nothing more than to lull you as a parent into a into a place and a posture of parenting where you are laissez-faire, where you are, not too involved, where you aren't that concerned, where you aren't really processing the ramifications of your parenting too much, where you're just kind of taking it as it comes, where you're taking your cues from culture and from society and from others around you, where you're parenting from a worldly perspective. The enemy would love nothing more than to make you think, no, there's no fight here. Just relax. Just relax. It's really no big deal. And I'm telling you, if you don't fight, the enemy wins. I said, if you don't fight, the enemy wins because the world is fighting for your kids. So the call on our lives as godly Christian parents is to fight for our kids. This is why when Tabitha and I were raising kids, we knew we're going to war. We're going to war because we aren't interested in just raising normal, average, run-of-the-mill kids who grow up to be normal, average, run-of-the-mill, worldly adults. We decided we want to raise world-changing, kingdom-building, legacy-leaving, church-loving, Bible-toting, hands-raising, full-on devoted followers of Jesus who would change a generation and impact a culture. And we knew the enemy would not like that, so we said, we're going to take a stand, hammer in one hand, sword in the other. We're going to fight for our kids. And my goal in this series is to equip every one of you, to come alongside your kids or somebody else's kids, to come alongside some kids around you to fight on their behalf. If you're watching online, my goal is to help you fight for your kids. If you're a man at Indian Creek, there are some incredible fathers watching at Indian Creek. We believe in you to be godly dads. We're going to equip you to have everything you need to fight for your kids.